All right, thank you for joining us today. And in this video, we are going to talk about the distributive property. Wow, wow, more examples. So this video will be the last example on, we've done the commutative property, we've done the associative property, and we are coming to do the distributive property. So if you have not watched the distributive, the associative and commutative, and then the introduction video, it's best for you to go back and go and watch it so that you understand this one more. Let's jump right in. So let's assume that we have set A, B, and C at the same time, right? And A, we want to prove that A union B intersection C is the same as A union B intersection A union C. Wow, that's the distributive property. So you see that the one that I'm going to give you is, I'll change this one to intersection and I'll change this one to union. Then you try, yes, so that you can get your hand on, trying something for you to understand. Right. So let's jump right in. What are we going to do here? We have the union and we have the intersection. So don't forget union or intersection and, right? So let's start by saying let x, right? So we are going to let x belongs to A union B intersection C, which belongs to A intersection B, sorry, A union B intersection A union C. Good. So that's what we are going to do. And we are going to have it to be A also belongs to A union C intersection A union. Now this one should be A union B, and this one is A union C, also belongs to A union B intersection C, right? So we are going to take them one by one, then we solve. So let's take from left to right, then the right to the left, which is here, left to right here, right? Let's learn the techniques and the skills. So let's start by saying X belongs to A union B intersection C. So as we said, when we have two functions, what we need to do is we need to make sure we treat the one in the bracket as one unit first. So this one is going to be X belongs to A union X belongs to B intersection C. Then now we go to the last one and we expand. So we are going to have X belongs to A union. Oops, we said when we are distributing, we need to change them, right? Sorry, so the union should be or, right? Good. So this one will be or. Then we distribute this one. X belongs to B. This is intersection. This right here is intersection. So we are going to have it and X belongs to C. So now that we are done with the expansion, the next thing that we need to do is we go back to where we started and we look at where we are getting to. So we are moving from this side to this side. So we can see that we have A and B in a bracket, and we have A and C in the bracket, right? So what can we see? This one is like we having this in the bracket, this one in the bracket, and this one multiplying this, and this one to also multiplying this, right? Because all the two sides we have A, right? So we are going to pick the whole of this with this, right? And the whole of this with this. So let me write it so that you will see. So I write A belongs to X belongs to A, or X belongs to B, and right. So I wrote this or this, right? Then I'm going with, and then I'll go and repeat this with this. So I'm going to have X belongs to A, or X belongs to C. Is that right? So it's like we having something like A times B plus C. So we are going to have A times B plus A times C, right? So I pick this one to multiply this here, plus I pick this one to multiply this. So that's what we are doing. So let's assume that this is in the parentheses like this, right? So if it's in the parentheses, I'll pick this one to multiply the one in the parentheses here, which will give me this, and which is here. Then I'll pick this one here and I'll use to multiply that. That makes sense? Good. So this is what you are going to have. Now let's try and see what we are getting. So we are trying to put this one in bracket, this one too in the bracket. So A and B in parentheses, A and B, A and C in parentheses. So we can do this one separate, then we do this one to separate. So here we are going to factor X and this one out. What will be left here? A. Then since we are putting them together, we change the OR to union, B, and here we are not changing this one to intersection because we have not gotten there now. Now this one to X belongs to A union C, which is going to give us this. So this and this out, what will be left with A, or but we are putting them together, so this one becomes union C. Right. Now we have this guy here, we have this guy also here, so we can factor it out, right? So you are going to have X belongs to, then let me just open a square bracket, big one. So when I factor this one out, what will be left? This. So I'm going to have A union B. Then now, since we are going to factor this and this out, we change this one to intersection. So intersection A union C. Very nice. So we can see that we started from this side, right? And we are right here on track. So the idea, as I said, when you pick the left, the right should be your guidelines after you are done expanding. So when you are done expanding, you come and look at the right hand side and see how you are going to make sure that it suits this one here. Now the next thing that we need to do is we are going to pick from this side to this side. But if this one is complicated, then what you can do is you can use the if and only if sign, right? If and only if sign to do it, and you are done. But let me take it from this to this one too. All right. So let's take it from when we have X belonging to A union B intersection A union C. Right. So let's do the expansion. This one will be X belongs to A union B. So as one unit, then we change the intersection here to, and X belongs to A union C. So you see the way I'm solving them step by step. Then now we can now expand the bracket. So I'm going to have X belongs to A. So union will be or, X belongs to B, and which is right here. Then I'll expand the one here to X belongs to A or X belongs to C. So as I said, as soon as you are done with the expansion, the next thing to do is you go and look for the right hand side of what you are proving. So we started here. This is the right hand side. So we can see that the right hand side has A, B, and C. Only one A, but here with our expansion we have A here, A here. So the idea is that actually for us to get this one, then we need to factor this and this out, which will help us to get the A to be just one. So when I factor A belongs to, X belongs to A out, what will be left? Like I'm trying to factor this out, right? This and this out with the together with the or, because you can see that union is here. So I'm going to factor this one together with the or out. So when I factor this one out and factor this one out, what will be left? We can see that what will be left is this and that. So I'm going to now have X belongs to B and X belongs to C. So you can see that when we factor this one out, which is right here, which is also right here, what will be left? What will be left is this and this, which is right here, right? So now, what can we see from here to again? We can see that B and C are in brackets. So make sure that we work with this one before we come and apply this one. So we are going to have X belongs to A, or now I factor this one out, and it will be left with B intersection C. As we are putting them together, we need to change the end to intersection. Then finally, I can factor this and this out, and this is going to give us X belongs to A, then the all change to union, and then we have B intersection C. Very nice. So the trick is always your left, when you pick the left hand side, when you are done expanding, your right hand side should be your guide, where that is where you are going to arrive, right? So to make sure that, okay, this is where I'm getting to, right? So for you, try by changing this one. I'm just changing this one to A intersection B union C, and then you are going to prove that this is the same as A intersection B union A intersection C. So if you really understand what I was doing, you should be able to also figure out how you are going to go through this process. So if you didn't understand, for you to try this one, what you need to do is go back and watch the video again step by step. When you are done, you should be able to try this on your own. Right. Good. So if you are, let's say, two people watching, what you can do is you can do it separately. And when you finish, you compare the results. But if you want to compare the answers with mine, then what you just need to do is you are trying to copy everything here by changing all union to intersection and all intersection to what? Union. Or to end and end to all, right? So you can do it, and when you finish, you can look at how it's going to be. Now, see you in the next video, because in the next video, we are going to look at different thing, something that we are going to use like a complement, and we are going to see how it's also going to affect how we are going to solve some of the things.